Alright, this is video number 2. It's a testing of the Emooqi 48 color set. For this test, I'm actually going to lift the colors out so they're not taking up a lot of the space. And one of the nice things you can see in this set is once you do that, there's all these additional mixing areas here as well, should you need them. Now I've taped down a piece of the paper that comes with the set, and just, for purposes of testing, I just drew 2 very light circles on here. I'm also going to be testing on a good watercolor paper, Watercolor, with the exact same 2 circles. I've already pre-filled their water brushes. I will say that the large brush, when you squeeze it, it does leak a little bit. Smaller brush does not. And I washed the sizing off of the set of regular brushes that they included. Almost all brushes do ship with a coating on them to keep the bristles together, and you do want to wash that off before you would use the brushes. So the first thing I'm going to do, we'll wet that and squeeze it a bit. We are going to do one side as a wet on wet test and one side as a wet to dry test. So I've pre-moistened the circle here, and now let's pick a color. I'm very fond of purple, so we're going to go with that. Hopefully you can see this. These colors are picking up very quickly. They are easy, at least this one is, to get some color from it. So I'm going to lay down on the dry paper. And let's see what it looks like going into wet, how it disperses. As you can see, this paper is buckling already, despite being taped down. As I said in the first video with the unboxing of the item, it's not a high quality paper, and I wouldn't expect it to be, and neither should you. We're not really buying the paper in this set, we're buying the set for the paints. Now when you want to clean your brush off, and as you can see when I squeeze it, see how it's this larger one does leak. And it looks like these colors are staining on the brush itself. That's not so much a problem as long as they don't transfer when you use a new color. Well, let's go in and pick up some of this blue. Come back in and see how well we can. Let's get a little water going there. As you can see, the wet side is still wet. Let's just see how well these blend in together, how they act. The blue did not seem to be quite as staining. In fact, what you could see is that the purple color actually stained, that it picked up from on there. So, it looks to me like on their paper, the colors blend half decently. They do seem to have some granulation in them, at least for these 2 colors. I'll be doing a color swatch with all of them, as everyone should do when they get a new set. But this is just to give you a general idea of how things perform. I'm just going to sit this over top of that because we're not really concerned there. This is the good watercolor paper. We're going to go in and test the same way. I'm going to wet this circle. You can see that the colors actually do seem to look nicer on the good paper, which I would expect. Whenever you're doing any kind of artwork, your paper is going to make a huge difference. What you choose for your ground definitely makes a difference. Now I've got a little too much water over here, so we're going to pat some of that off. And then let's do the same thing going in with the same blue as we did in the sample in theirs. I'm sure you can see the difference in performance on the better paper. These actually are performing, in my opinion, quite well for a bargain price set. All in all, I would say that these are a very good set especially for a beginner, or for anyone who just enjoys watercolor painting. Now, obviously, I wouldn't necessarily trust the Lightfast ratings on any of the inexpensive sets. They may be, they may not. You know, if you're doing artwork for sale, I would definitely recommend that you get the more expensive and known good watercolor paints. But this particular set, I would say that, you know, I would highly recommend it for anyone that just enjoys doing a little bit of painting and wants to try new things. I myself will be using it for coloring on cards that have been stamped. I know that's a very popular thing, and I'm pretty sure that this will perform very well for that purpose.